Yes, sir.
Let's go back to our book we did together.
Yes, yes.
I want to cover the Muslim
All
Brotherhood.
right, come on in. Um, we're going to cover with Admiral Ace Lyons. He and I, and there were three other authors: Jerry Boykin,
Money,
General Boykin, Michael Del Rosso, who just left,
right?
and there's Diana
Yeah,
West up there.
yeah, Diana West.
Five Sharia, the threat to America authors. That's 25% of the group, basically.
Right.
Yeah. But Admiral Ace Lyons wanted to comment on the essence of the book we put together, the Muslim Brotherhood. Tell the audience, tell America about the Brotherhood.
The Muslim Brotherhood has a goal. It's expressed very clearly in their creed. We are going to use the silent jihad to destroy America from within with their own miserable hands and replace our Constitution with Sharia law. And they have had a very effective campaign to this date to accomplish this. Muslim Brotherhood has been able to penetrate through every government agency in Washington. Much of the restricted rules of engagement that you see our forces fighting under, I'm sure, is influenced by the Muslim Brotherhood input.
Hang on one second. Ladies and gentlemen, all of you watching, this is not a guy who wandered off the street, came in here and said, "What's going on? Let me talk." Admiral Ace Lyons was the admiral of the Pacific Fleet. He led the United States Navy in the Pacific for many, many years, and you had a doctrine where you could have and you think should have taken Iran out at a certain point, which would have changed the dynamic of the way the world is today with Sharia Islam. But this is one of the world's expert military leaders, military analysts, military strategists, who's now alerting America to the Muslim Brotherhood's influence in this administration in this country. Go ahead, sir.
Well, as we said, they've penetrated through every one of our government agencies, and it's been accelerated under the Obama administration. It started long before that. They gained a good foothold under Bush, but now it is totally accelerated. And in fact, it manifests itself in the way the Obama administration, under the Arab Spring, switched our allegiance from our allies to those Al Qaeda affiliated rebels and militias, which sole purpose is to promote the Muslim Brotherhood ideology, which is to install Sharia law. We see through the Obama administration, we are now seeing the ascendancy of the Muslim Brotherhood dictatorship, if you will. We see it in Egypt, Tunisia, Libya, and most likely soon to be in Syria.
Hang on one second. I see one of our colleagues. Come on in here. Come on, slide over. We have one of our Sharia threat to America colleagues. Diana West is here. Did you see her?
How could I miss her?
We're talking about, he wanted to alert America. We're streaming live to a bunch of people about the Brotherhood's influence in America. You've written extensively on that.
Yes.
Your thoughts?
Well, I think that what we see is evidence of this here today in the whole conduct of our war in Afghanistan. The rules of engagement are simply an expression of our submission to Islam that is brought about through the influence and the input of people who are either connected to Muslim Brotherhood entities, leftists who think it makes a lot of sense to them, fellow travelers, dupes, etc. But this is not a policy of America first in the sense of first to protect America. This is a policy
around. And regretfully, to stop.
How?
I mean,
I'd like to make another point about political correctness, which is that just as the rules of engagement are really an expression of a submission to Islam, political correctness is really evidence of the infiltration of Marx's ideas into our system. The idea comes right out of Marx that there are certain words that may not be said, certain words that must be said. And when you get people to think according to a lexicon of accepted language, you get them to think accepted thoughts. And I think that is what we're hearing about. I think that when we heard the very compelling, riveting discussion of the commander of Special Forces, Admiral McRaven, visiting the Vaughns and giving them essentially a load of what we know as political correctness, a load of propaganda, it sounds like, we see how deep the rot is of Marx and Islam. And I think that we have to start thinking about the whole infiltration problem in this larger context.
Well, I'm glad you said that because I've just written a book called American Betrayal. It'll be out in May. Oh, wait a minute. You wrote that book.
No, Tom.
Oh, you wrote that
I wrote that book. Yes, that is heavily upon my at this point.
I knew one of us wrote it.
Yes, a little.
I lose track of the books I don't
But
write.
you know, it is unfortunate to see how much of this theorizing actually becomes manifest in human tragedy, in American tragedy. And
Do you have
I
any
think that's
question
where
for
we
the
are.
Admiral? Because he's got to sit down.
Yeah, well, what I think the point when we talk about Muslim Brotherhood penetration today, it's reflected certainly in the 57 Muslim organizations who wrote a letter to our national security advisor at that time, John Brennan, complaining about the training material that our instructors were using to teach our military forces about the danger of Islam, Islamic terror, Islamic jihadists, and what the force really didn't have to force very hard because the Obama administration then issued an order, purged all our training material, deleted everything that related to Islam and terrorism, retrained our instructors, and in some cases disciplined those instructors as requested by the 57 Muslim groups, who incidentally, most of which are Muslim Brotherhood front organizations.
This whole thing is upside down. Well, Admiral, thank you very, very much. We grab a seat and we'll go to lunch in a little bit or something.
Nah, I've got to go.
You going to go?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be in touch.
Okay.
Thank you
Okay.
again. Thank you very, very much for what you're doing. Admiral James Ace Lyons, folks. A living legend, indeed. Thank everybody for staying with us. Send our link, TrentoVision.tv, on this amazing 3-hour broadcast to all your friends, all your lists. They got to watch this. This was a historic, pivotal meeting. See you. Bye-bye.